Hey y'all, my name is Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads Podcast. Brand new episode this week.
That's right. Another good one with another good friend of ours, Tom Jensen.
Tom J is in the house. I'm double fisting tonight. It's a real deal.
That's right, man. This was a good episode. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was probably one of our more serious ones.
And he kept apologizing for that, but frankly, I thought it was a lot of good information communicated.
Absolutely.
It was fun to have those conversations, and frankly, not all of parenting is sunshine and rainbows. No. So why the hell shouldn't we be serious?
Absolutely not. And yeah, he had a lot of good advice. I know me and you, we took away several things just from our conversation, both recorded and off the air there. But yeah, he was full of good stuff. I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value out of this episode.
Absolutely. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. So I really think we should just let them hear it and jump right into it.
Let's do it.
All right. Decent Dads Podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads Podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome, he's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from medium-sized town, Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, but instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most, a fantastic father of two, and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Medium size. That's being very generous. Let me tell you.
It's almost like you're from a tiny town or something.
Very generous there, but
the bustling metropolis of Humansville.
Yeah, but we appreciate you. We appreciate you for that. Anyways, but man, it is a good day for a good day, boys.
A good day.
I don't know if you noticed, but I walked in here without my Aircast boot.
Yes, he did.
A little bit of a gimp, but I am in flip-flops right now.
Which I still, I can't believe you're not at least wearing tennis shoes.
Yeah, well, yeah, they rubbed the back of my ankle, and it doesn't feel too good.
No more.
Yeah, so flip-flops it is.
Crocs. You need Crocs.
There you go. That would go good with my work attire, right? Yeah. Let's do that. I'll try that. See what they say.
Wait, are you telling me you wore flip-flops to the office today in your work attire?
No, I wear boots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll try flip-flops tomorrow.
Sorry,
Casual Fridays. Casual Friday. Anyways, but we got our hoppy coffee in hand, so
mine tastes like bourbon. I mean, something else.
Excuse me?
What?
Yeah. But and we got another great guest.
Yeah, we do. I'm excited about Tom being here, man.
Yeah, we got Tom Jensen, or what Bryant likes to refer to you as, Tommy J.
Tommy J.
Yep.
Happy to be here. Thank you, guys.
But one of our Rotary buddies. So excited to have you on the podcast, Tom. Thanks again for being here.
Yeah, this will be fun.
We know you a little bit. Some people might not. So if you will, tell us, who you are, what you do. Give us your dad resume. Tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, and which one's your favorite.
Sure.
Hold on to your butts, people.
I think I need to set the record straight. Like your friendly insurance agent or your hometown?
Friendly local. I'm both.
I've been local to Springfield since 2011.
Yeah, but I was born here.
He's 10th generation Greene County, Tom.
You're just asking.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it all the freaking time.
No. Well, Tom Jensen came to Springfield in 2011. I'm like a snowbird. I keep going south.
I love it.
Originally from South Dakota. So the town, fun fact, that I grew up in wasn't a town. It was the countryside. So
was it really?
Oh, yeah,
unincorporated territory kind of thing?
Population, cattle in the county, probably 20,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Population in the town, less than 100 people.
Holy
dang.
Shit. Yeah,
okay, you got me beat.
Yeah,
you got me beat.
Farm country. So, lived in Kansas City for a while. Went to college, and similar to Chaney, had high aspirations. My body fell apart then, not now. You're too young for that. But came to Springfield and have been married now for almost 7 years with Stacy, and that marriage number 2.
Yeah.
4 kids. My oldest, Audrey, will be 18 in July.
I can't believe that, man.
Yeah, I can't either.
Dang, that's nuts.
My son, Hunter, is 15 and a half. And then Isabel is 3. And Grace will be 10 months here in a few days.
Baby Grace.
What a split, man.
Yeah, it's wiping butts in my 20s and wiping butts in my 40s. It's a deal right there.
So true.
Which do you prefer? Which is better, 20s or 40s?
Oh, man. It's hard to say. My experiences in my 20s made me a better parent for my 40s.
There you go.
That makes sense.
So-
Yeah. You've had experience already. Yeah. You've already done this.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's you're more mature, you have more resources, and you're probably a better version of yourself later.
Here.
You're more patient.
So true.
Yeah. Well, you're never going to grow
Shut
up.
up.
But yeah, it looks different. So
Yeah.
I would say, if I could give some advice to people, I'd probably say wait before just trying to have 10 kids in your 20s.
Yeah.
See, I love that mentality too.
Yeah.
That's exactly where Liv and I were. We waited until we were in our 30s before we had kids because, kind of to your point, I'm a giant child in my 30s. Imagine what I was like in my 20s.
Right.
So it was important for me to grow up a little bit before we had kids. I totally understand.
Absolutely. Well, and you hit on it too. I mean, I think about that all the time. I'm like, what would have happened if I would have had a kid in high school or college or right out of college? Like, I was nowhere mature enough, but then, like you said, the resources. I was like, how do people get by? With one kid, let alone multiple kids. I'm like, literally, I don't know how they do it, and bless them for doing what they do. But I
forces you to grow up quick, too,
right?
I would assume.
Yeah, I couldn't have done
if
it.
You're wondering why I'm not funny and I'm a little bit serious.
This man's lived some time. All right?
My sense of humor is gone at this point.
No, it was get to work.
Yeah.
Like, you had to figure it out. So.
Well, and frankly, I want to talk about that because you are also in our industry. We didn't really talk about it, but you're also an insurance guy. But frankly, you're really freaking good at it. So I want to talk more about that when we get there. So you'll have a unique perspective here because you've had 18 almost years of tantrums. But for the longest time, it was
fun to
like
think about. Right?
you had little kid tantrums, and then all of a sudden, it was all the way we're up into our teen years, and then you started back over with little ones again.
Right.
So, what kind of tantrums have you been dealing with lately? Is it the big kids? Is it the little kids? Like, what have you been dealing with?
Let me say this: small kids, small problems. Like small kids,
I like that.
Small problems.
I like that.
Sure.
Big kids, bigger problems.
Holy shit, Tom.
So
yeah, man, that's awesome.
Small
Absolutely.
kids, like 3-year-old, she throws a fit. She wants her mom. Like, we've all been there. Like, I want mama.
Right.
I think Jimmy Fallon said, he wrote a book.
Yep.
Everything
It's
mama.
upstairs. It's upstairs.
That's
I have
my
it.
life.
I own it.
Like, every night, I want mama. Izzy, I'm going to put you to bed. No, I want mama. It's meltdown city until Stacy comes up and
Oh, no.
and puts her to bed.
Yeah.
Like, she won't fight. Like, the spirit is strong in that one. But in the grand scheme of things, that's such a small
Sure.
issue.
Right.
So, those, I don't even, again, the better version of myself doesn't get worked up. We're not going to have a knockdown, drag out. I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. Big kids, bigger problems. And the mistakes that they make are choices and decisions as they go through their learning curve. And think about your childhood, think about your teenage years, think about your college years.
Yeah.
Like, those have bigger consequences. So do I call those tantrums? Well, the consequences create some conflict.
No kidding.
If you lose your phone, electronics, give me the keys to the car. Like, those are tantrums for a teenager where it's,
right.
It looks
Slamming
different.
doors and raised
yeah.
voices and all that kind of shit, I assume.
I've been loved and hated more in the same day by the same kid. It's just like, gonna ride it. I'm just gonna stay even.
Well, I think that there's value in that. Recognizing that, hey, listen, small problems are small problems, and so don't get bent out of shape. But also, you need to be that rock for your family. And so if you've got those big kids that are having those big emotions, if you're the rock, they can depend on you to be the rock for good or for bad. They know where you're going to be on a situation.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yep.
What about you? What are you dealing with tantrum wise?
Ride the ups and downs, but stay even keel. I like that.
That's what my
I
wife
like
said.
that. Oh, Bryant.
So
Are you
my
working on
team.
number 2?
Yeah.
it's over here.
Yeah, he's working on it. My tantrum. We had our first tantrum that was, I don't want to come in and eat because I'm playing. So we were down at my parents'. It was just me and the boys. Allie was working, and my mom made dinner. And so the boys were out there playing with their cousins. And so I told them, I was like, hey, guys, dinner's ready. Like, let's go eat.
Let's go. Yeah.
Brody, he's an animal. He's like, all right, let's go. And so he's just marching his little butt in there. And so I pick him up and I yell at Liam. I'm like, come on, bud, let's go eat. And he's like, no, I'm still playing. I'm like, you know, we can play later. I was like, you got to come eat now and we'll play afterwards. He's like, no, I'm still playing. I'm like, Liam, get your butt in here now. And he's like, no. So I'm like, okay. So take Brody in there and already made their food, set him down at his spot, and I start feeding him. And luckily my mom, she kind of sensed that I was a little frustrated with the older one. She's like, I'll feed Brody. And I'm like, perfect.
Go dump his food on the back porch.
And so then I go back outside.
Got food, huh?
Right. So I go back
Back
outside, and Liam's still trying to play, and his cousins are coming in at this point. So it's like he's just out there playing by himself. And I'm like, Liam, come on, it's time to eat. You know, no. And he's just like lays there and, you know, just throwing a fit. And so I just walk out there and throw him over my shoulder and walk in the house with him, set him down on my lap, and we start eating. And he had a late dinner because normally he eats like 4:35. And this is like about 6 o'clock.
Senior citizen hours. That's almost Tom Jensen time.
He starts eating. First 2 minutes he starts eating, his attitude completely changes. And he was just hungry. That's all it was.
Angry kids, dude.
And he like
That's real.
cleaned his plate after dinner. He was, you know, no tantrums at all, just a good kid. And I'm just like, jeez.
There's something to be said for the hangry thing.
Oh,
mean, it works
I
in my
suffer.
life.
I suffer from it too.
For
Like
my
bad.
wife, it works
So
for the kids. Like it's a real thing. So we've been struggling with nap time. You were talking about, you know, dealing with little problems. Liv was gone all last weekend on a bachelorette party. My brother gets married this summer, so it was with his fiance's bachelorette party. And so it was just Elsa and I in the house, and it was great. I love that time, but for whatever reason, she doesn't want to sleep on Saturdays for shit. And so we fought.
so we can.
Dude, I'm telling you, we fought all Saturday afternoon trying to get her to nap. She wouldn't do it. Got to the point where she was stripped down to her skivvies in her bed, like waving a diaper around her head, like she was Bert Kreischer on a party
Learned
weekend.
behavior.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
learn. She saw that somewhere.
Saw Dad doing that.
You don't just do that.
So Liv finally gets home Sunday afternoon, and it gets to be nap time, and Elsie is going to go to bed with Mom. Mom's going to rock her for a minute, try and put her down. Still doesn't want to sleep, and so I finally had to mark off the what feels like a rite of passage for a dad. The I'm going for a drive nap, and so I stuck her in the car. And Elsie likes 70s rock and funk. And so I turned on Earth, Wind, and Fire. I turned on, like, AC/DC. And I put it in the back, and I just put it on her part of the car. And I drove to Stratford, to Marshfield, and back. And I just did 3 big triangles, and I just drove.
Dang, you took a trip.
For like an hour and a half or 2 hours. And that little shit slept the entire time.
Right.
But she was screaming her brains out for the first 3 minutes of the car ride, and then was out for an hour and a half.
Do what you got to do, man.
And I have literally avoided the go for a drive nap for 2 years now.
So
it works, though. Shit, it works.
you know, every kid has a different personality, right?
Sure.
So
Yes.
no 2 kids are the same, and that's just a reality. Isabel's the same way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she will go balls to the wall. Period. End of story. Go blow right through nap time. And the moment she stops moving, she'll fall asleep.
Crashes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But how do you get a kid that won't stop to stop moving?
Sure.
You-
Lock him in a car seat.
It's funny because every now and then I'll be like, "Oh, Izzy, I need to run an errand. You want to come with?" And it'll be at that 2:00 magic hour.
Oh, yeah.
And
How convenient.
yeah, you know, we need to run an errand quick and get her in the back seat. And 5 minutes later, she's out.
Yep.
And it's
Then do you turn around and come back
There you
and
go.
try to ease her out of the car seat, or you just keep
Man.
driving?
no. I mean, I don't know about you, but I work out. I can lift my child. So
Hey,
I don't need
ouch.
to immediately turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna go get my ice cream and then come back.
Yeah.
I mean, this Andy's not going to eat itself.
That's
all
right. That's right.
Brahms.
That's right. Man, that sounds like quite a dad hack there, Tom. I don't
Actually,
even
I
know.
kinda like that
I know. I don't even know
thought process. That's pretty good.
if you meant to to do that there. But as you know, that's the next question we ask everybody is
Settle down.
is their best dad hack.
Dad hack alert!
So Bryant, we'll start with you. What do you got this week?
So we talked about doing the email for your kids, right?
Yeah, I started doing that.
We started doing this thing where I started an email address for Els. And I send her emails on her birthday. Or like my dog passed away, and so I sent her a note like talking about her and the dog, and like pictures of her and the dog when she was first in the house, and like pictures of her first day of daycare. And I just send her little notes. I just send her little emails, and it's something that I really like to do. But I realized last week I lost the password.
Oh no! No. You didn't write that down?
Hey,
I thought Google had it saved, but I lost the fucking password.
Oh,
There's
always have a
button.
backup.
Here's another dad hack. It's also a professional hack. Password reset.
Yeah, oh, I know.
Reset
And
it.
that's what we tried to do, but Google didn't like me, yada, yada, yada.
Oh no!
Multi-factor.
Fortunately, I had, they were all sent from the same email address, so I just resent all of them to the new email address that Elsie has. So I guess my dad hack is if you're going to do this really nice, like cool gesture for your kids, make sure to follow through and actually write down the password in several different places,
Make sure
and
to
don't
be-
trust Google to keep it for you, because
Oh, dude!
I did all this really
my
nice shit. I had to go
gosh.
back and resend like 5 different emails.
yeah.
And so Liv and I both have it saved in our
You-
phones
you-
and on paper somewhere and in Google now.
Dude, you sound like my dad right now. What's my email password
email
again? Do you remember that?
Yeah, so it's not really a bad
Gosh.
hack other than I just was really excited about that email idea.
That's
and then I
funny,
screwed
dude.
it up.
That's funny though. Oh man, yeah. Luckily, I've ours written down. So
Yeah,
don't
I
have to
think
worry
it's
about
I think it's a good idea to write that stuff down, or a professional idea. to write
right.
that stuff.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yep. I have the Excel spreadsheet of them, but
I don't know if I have a dad hack, necessarily as much as a communication hack.
okay.
So at some point, as the kids were the bigs, so bigs and littles, as they were getting older, it dawned on me that I needed to talk to them like I like to be talked to.
Sure.
So not in a dictator, but in a conversation
Okay.
to let them know there could be dialogue, there could be back and forth, there could be independent thought, there could be, okay, well, Dad said this, but is that a hard and fast immediate? Like, I mean, do they know when I'm being serious? Absolutely, but
Sure.
The manner in which you ask them to make the bed, pick up your clothes,
Sure.
put the dishes away. You can nag on them. Well, I didn't like being nagged on.
Sure.
Right.
I don't know about you.
Nope.
No, not at all.
So-
of course.
Giving some grace and latitude in that, but realizing, oh, hey, if I'm barking at them, well, they're not going to like that and not going to
Sure.
respond to it. So,
I like that though.
That's
But
good.
it is just come to them the way you want someone to come to you. I
right, respect.
They're human
Yeah.
beings too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good thought process.
Yeah, I like that. Not always being the dictator. That's good stuff.
Struggle with that.
I know,
Oh,
right?
I do too.
I'm a
It
big
can
guy.
be.
It's
Tater.
yeah.
Anyways, mine's not really dad hack. I guess it's kind of dad advice. So we had a garage sale this weekend, and we were like, hey, Liam's 3, so let's have him do like a little lemonade stand.
Oh,
right.
yes. Yeah, I can't believe I
And
missed that.
yeah, and so we talked to Liam. He was like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I want to do it." And we're like, "Okay, well, all the money you make from it, we'll take half of that, and you can go buy whatever you want, whatever toy you want." And he's like, "Okay." So Thursday rolls around, and we get his little setup all set up there, and he's pumped. He's like really excited about it, and he's like, anybody that walks to our driveway, he's already filling up a little cup, even if they want lemonade or not.
$5.
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive. Come on, but yeah. So he was super pumped about it. Little dude, the first day I think he made like $30-some. He was super excited. The next day he wasn't as pumped for it, which his cousins were there. He was more wanting to play with them, so I think he made like $10 or $12. But he ended up making $40-some out of the whole deal.
Pretty good money on a
So
lemonade
a
stand.
reverse hack on the lemonade is give the lemonade free with a tip jar.
Oh, see, we did sell it and tip jar.
Get rid of the sale price.
I like
and
the
make
tip
it
jar
all
thing.
tip
That's
jar.
funny.
Yeah.
'Cause you're more inclined to tip
Stuff a
a
20
free
in there. Sure.
free gesture than you are to get paid 75 cents and then just say, "Oh, keep the quarter." Like, everyone's going to tip more. than a quarter.
See, we did 25 cents, and everybody paid $1.
There you go.
So nobody wants 3/4 back, right? But anyways, so we took him to Menards Saturday, whenever it was, Sunday.
Is that the best toy store you could think of, Dad? What the hell?
That's where he likes
Small
going.
town toy store.
That's where he likes.
That's exactly.
He likes going.
Where's the Orchland?
Tom's
Y'all
from the
wanna go
north.
to the Orchland?
He knows.
We're gonna build something.
He
Make a
knows.
birdhouse. Come on.
And so he picked out. He had like $20 to spend. So he picked out this little $10 remote control boat. That's what he wanted. And so we gave it to him. We're like, hey, you got to go take it to the cashier, and we gave him how much money it was going to cost to pay for it, and he handed the cashier the money, and they put it in the bag for him, and he was like so proud of himself because he bought his own toy. And as a parent, that's one of the coolest feelings ever is seeing your kid so proud of themselves for something that they did or they accomplished. And so I mean, I guess teach them entrepreneurship or whatever it is you want to call it there. But it was good. It was fun.
There's a
it was
guy
a lot
in
of fun.
Circle, and I don't know if we talked about this on the show or not. The guy Aaron that started and I don't want to spoil it when he's on the show later, but like he and his son started.
The shoe company. Yep.
He and the son wanted to start a sneaker selling business on Facebook.
Every teenager does.
I know, right? That's like the thing.
Must be a thing, yeah.
And I don't know how old the kid is, but he went to his dad and said, "Hey, I want to help. I want to start selling shoes." And so Dad invited all of his friends to a Facebook group. Mm-hmm. And the kid was finding shoes to sell, and he made like gross sales was like $1,000, net was like $100 or something. Like he was so excited that he had made $100. And
that's a lot when you're that age,
Exactly. But then Dad was teaching. Okay, 10% goes to tithe, and 20% goes to tax, and like. Tax. I'm pretty sure Dad just took the money and stuck it in his pocket.
Probably. No, Aaron.
We'll have to. We'll have to ask Aaron about that. But like, it was just kind of a cool idea of teaching your kids even when they're young, teaching those like basic dollar principles.
Oh yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. Well, we started to talk about that. Talk a little bit about like, have you started having any of those conversations because you've got big kids and little kids. Obviously, you're not teaching the little kids about money. Have you had any of those conversations with the big kids?
Yes.
How does that go? I see that look on your face like it's not going very well. How do those conversations go? What's that like? That good, huh?
No, both the kids. I am proud of them. Both the kids have a job right now. They both work at Lambert's.
Are they throwing rolls?
Yeah,
Is Hunter throwing
slinging
rolls?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man, that's awesome.
Here's a funny that kid was lit up when I picked him up the other day.
Yeah,
and this is. Unofficial. Came from my son, so
of
it
course.
could have been embellished a little bit. He said it's accurate, but hey, he had a good day.
Yeah.
So we've all been to Lambert's.
Mm-hmm.
If you throw the rolls, like you're the cool guy, right?
Oh yeah,
That's
for sure.
Deal. If you pass okra, you're popular. Like Lambert's has like gender roles. Like,
okay.
It's kind of weird, but whatever, they do it. So most of the time it's guys throwing rolls. It's the passers are typically whatever. So Audrey will do the okra and she'll get tipped.
Nice.
Which is kind of fun. Hunter, if he's throwing rolls, he puts a sales spin on it. And he's having fun.
$1, $2. I got $1. I got $2. I got $3.
Fancying it up, and he's getting tipped.
Nice.
But the other day, this one he didn't get tipped as well, but he was proud. I mean, he was just beaming when he got in the truck. He was on the Cinnies, the cinnamon rolls, the hubcaps. He sold 122 cinnamon rolls in a 5-hour shift.
Holy crap!
Like,
dang.
Just hustling the tables.
Yeah,
just
baby.
Hustling. Like,
good for him.
And I was like, God, that's a lot of cinnamon.
Right?
Yeah, no
that's
shit,
what I'm
like
thinking.
$5 a pop. That's a pretty good gig.
Lambert's like, you're full, and like you got him to buy a big old piece of bread with sugar on it.
Right, sugar and cinnamon.
Good for you. But he's like, it was a top 10 record for sales. I'm like, okay, well, that's a lot of.
Yeah, man, that's killer. Good for him.
Yeah, so he was pumped. I'm like, did you get tipped on that? He's like, no, but he was still proud of moving a lot of product.
Heck yeah,
that's
cool.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Well, if
good
he's
for
looking
him.
for an insurance job, I know somebody that could use his services.
Yeah, home and auto. Personal lines, come on.
We hinted a little bit at it. You've got bigs and you've got littles, as you call them, and you of course alluded to Stacy is your second wife. I had hoped you could talk a little bit about your experience in the divorce and or like through the lens of raising kids. I don't necessarily care about the relationship. I'm curious about like the parenting side of it. Like, tell us about how that worked and raising kids in divorce and kind of what your thoughts were on that. How'd you handle that?
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, sure.
Here's what I learned from somebody that at the time was a very good mentor for me, right? So nobody gets married to intentionally get divorced.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it depends on the manner of who you are, the character of you as a person. But for me, I felt a very strong, my identity had been shaken. Mm-hmm. Like, I was professional business person, I was father, I was husband, I was committed, loyal, and then that identity shift happens. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, well, you make vows, you do things, and all of a sudden that changed. Okay, so I can move on from that. By having a strong positive influence in my life, mm-hmm. and by getting sound advice and feedback, I was able to stay out of trouble.
Nice.
Like, the biggest mistake that most and I'm a stereotype guys, but the biggest mistake most guys make is the kids go with the mom,
mm-hmm. right,
and then the dads have their identity crisis. They spiral, they party, mm-hmm. and they end up with
midlife crisis shit.
More kids.
Yeah,
exactly. So, Rick, I guess, can I say his name in here? Rick, it's in perpetuity, so there's a contract for this.
Number one.
We got his signature, don't worry.
No, Rick Brashler, who is down at Kanakuk, very Christian, just faith, a person of faith, and could at the time we'd go down and fish on Taneycomo, and I'd just get poured into, and I needed it, and I think he realized that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
But lots of good advice, and it was sound advice, and not letting one instance create more turmoil in your life. Mm-hmm. So that was the first part. The second part of going through that was, guys, I'm not from Springfield. So I had just moved 3 hours south from Kansas City, which I wasn't from Kansas City either.
Sure.
But I just moved
further.
3 hours further away from anyone that was a strong, longtime friend or family.
Yep.
And I'm down here, and I've got to make a choice. Okay, do I, dig in and just make this home? Do I leave? What do I do? And
sure, yeah,
that's there's a lot going on. So, in that process, I got the kids. I had the kids that first month, the whole time.
Oh yeah,
I just made sure I was going to be consistent in their lives.
Good for you. So
that was never going to be a deal for me. Like, that was never going to be an option of not being there for my kids. So I had them, and then once their mom got a few details straightened out, then the kids went back and forth, week on, week off, for a very long time.
So it was a full 50-50 split then.
Yeah, after we went through court. And
yeah, sure.
It was not fun, but
I understand that process. It's not very much fun.
So the co-parenting aspect, in our situation, we've had ups and downs, probably more downs than ups, disagreements. But if you end up getting divorced, that's the hardest thing you'll do is co-parent with somebody that gets married to somebody else.
Oh yeah,
and now you have bonus dad in the situation, right. Or you get married, now there's bonus mom,
right?
And there's feelings getting hurt, and the other person wants to try to be involved, and it's a very rough situation. So my feedback through that process is, you don't speak bad about the other parent in front of the kids.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Sure.
they could ever hear it.
I think that is so apt. That makes complete sense.
You just, if you do that, the kids, they hear that, they remember it, they act out, they'll do the things. But I can look at my kids in the eye and I can, stand before God and say, you didn't hear me talk bad about your mom.
Right.
Like
That's good.
That wasn't that.
Because what good comes
Right,
from that,
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
nothing good comes from
Nothing good comes from it. So that's a little heavy conversation.
that. No, but that's what
Yeah.
we want to talk about, that stuff.
Absolutely.
Because truly, that's a dad experience.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know the exact math, but I'm pretty sure it's like 50% of people out there deal with something
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
like, it's definitely something to talk about.
Yeah.
So the bonus parent has the worst position.
God, I can't
Yeah.
even imagine.
They're in the worst position because their spouse and they care for you, they want to help, but they're not parent.
Right.
So therefore, small kids, small problems. Like, oh, this isn't really a thing. Big kids, big problems. Hormones, getting older, you're not my mom.
Right.
I'm going to do what I want. Or my mom said I can do this or whatever. So
It's got to be tough. Yeah.
it's important for the parents to be on the same page. I wish I could say we were there more than
Sure.
not, but
It's not always going to be the case.
Yeah. Right.
it's not always going to be the case. So, but what you can do is control your controllables. Like, are you going to be, respectful? Are you going to show up? Are you going to be there? Or are you going to prioritize partying and going out? And,
Right.
what are you showing your kids? So,
Right.
Well, I mean, I think a parent's number one job is set the freaking example. Right?
Yeah.
And so if you're off either not taking care of your kids or partying or all of a sudden there's another little kid in the picture.
right.
What example are you setting for your kids?
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah,
and
I
we
love that.
and we had another guest talk about it. He's like, through divorce, he's like, you can choose to be selfish and just think about you, put you first, or you can be the dad and think of your kids first. And so, great job to you. What about? Because me and Allie, man, we just talked about this last night or night before. I can't even imagine how tough this had to be for you, but because if we're away from our kids for 2 days, that's tough. So if you're a week on and week off, how difficult is that as a dad?
It's probably one of the worst feelings that you would go through.
Yeah.
And I won't even just say for the dad. I'd just say for the other parent,
Yeah.
because if you're not with them, again, you go back to what your norm. Well, you got to write a new normal.
Sure.
So how are you going to keep your time filled in a constructive manner? Okay? Constructive.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
that
yeah,
key word there. Yeah. Yeah.
Destructive manner.
Yeah.
Constructive.
Yeah.
So that was before my knee replacement and stuff. So I was running and I was in much better shape. And,
Sure.
Lots of thoughts. But so week on, week off gives you a lot of downtime. Right?
Yeah,
Again,
I bet.
you can sit around and watch TV, and I could have perfected my Halo skills. Or
You're aging yourself, Tom.
there's like a new movie coming out.
I play Halo too. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know video games. Don't worry about him.
You're young. Yeah, I forget. Podcasts. I'm surprised. Yeah. Anyhow. Can you spell Halo? Do they teach cursive like when you were?
What's
growing
that?
up?
What's that?
Cursive?
Do they teach
What
cursive?
are these?
Tommy, quit it.
What are these curved lines? Yeah,
Why is it crooked and twisted? Like,
they're all connected.
yeah. No, so the answer is God,
Yeah.
it was awful. So what did I do at that time? I changed my career, and I went to work in the independent insurance arena, as Bryant knows. And,
Yep.
week on, it's a 40-hour-a-week position. You're picking the kids up, you're dropping them off, and it's on you. And a week off, well, it's 80 hours, and you're busting your ass, and you're doing what you need to do to pour in and get it
Sure.
done, and keeping busy, and failure is not an option.
Yeah.
So at that point,
Right.
it's when you have motivation, there's you'll find a way.
Sure.
Find a way to make it happen.
Absolutely.
So,
Man.
Well, and you're a business owner, and you spent all of that time in your 20. Well, I guess it would have been in your 30s, growing your business to a place where you are comfortable now, but also you had to figure that balance of, I've got my kids at my house and it's my responsibility to pick them up and it's my responsibility to take them to school and it's my responsibility to cook meals. Talk a little bit about your work-life balance, mostly because I need some tips because I'm getting there, Tom. Like I'm to the point now, and we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I'm in a multi-generational family business, and we're in the throes of perpetuation right now. Like we're having those succession conversations. We're figuring out Dad's not working on Fridays, and so that's our way of slowly but surely putting him out to pasture. Sorry, Dad. But like, getting him on the golf course more and out of the office more. And so I want to kind of pick your brain. I want to learn more a little bit about your philosophies on work-life balance, or just kind of how you manage that, particularly juggling 1 week on, 1 week off with kids.
Yeah. The personal development aspect in that period, that same period. So when I didn't have the kids and I wasn't at the office, I'd be walking, listening to audiobooks, right? I reading is not my favorite thing to do. Okay?
Agreed.
But learning is. And what I've learned is there's nothing unique to me.
Preach.
There's
So
nothing
accurate.
unique to me.
Yeah.
I'm not the first person to go through a divorce to get wronged or whatever. So I could put my pity party hat on, or I could just realize there's been people that have gone through this before me. So what does that look like? Okay, once you identify that you're not a victim, you move forward. Okay, so balancing time, man, there's so many more people. Like, here's all the smart people in the world. Like, I'm below your base.
Well, give yourself a little.
Below your base.
It's worked.
It's working, yes. I forget the exact way it was told me. It's like, Tom, you don't have to be the smartest. And I said, thank you. But you do need to be the second fastest to market. You don't have to be the smartest.
Because let them be first, but you better be quick on their heels.
You better pick it up, learn, and bring it.
Nice. Okay, I appreciate that.
You don't have to create everything.
Right.
But pick it up, learn it, bring it.
Cool.
And it's like, okay, that
Cool.
I can do that. Like, somebody's successful. Like, success is all in front of us, and how it's been. Look at the people from the past. Like, pick your favorite, person. There's so many good books on business that exist. So I still haven't got to the time management piece.
No, that's okay.
I'm delaying because I'm still working on that. But
And, you don't have to, and frankly, I'm not expecting you to have some like crazy good put it on a t-shirt kind of one-liner.
Right.
I'm really just curious to kind of hear
what worked for you,
did, or what worked for you, or if you learned something that definitely didn't work and you better avoid that shit like the plague.
Well, what I've learned is that your kids remember how you enter the door and what you're doing while you enter the door. So if you come through, and
that's a great one-liner. But
Yeah, no shit.
if you come through the door fired up, well, Dad always came home angry from work. If you come through the phone,
that's true. Yeah.
If you come through the phone, if you come through the
that
door
too.
and you're always on your phone, then it's Dad never finished work before he came home. If you see where I'm going.
That one hit me in the gut a little bit there, dude.
Right.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And these are all things I struggle with. And your wives, right? Our wives care about this probably just as much as the kids.
Yeah.
And I love Stacy, so I didn't mention Stacy earlier. She's an incredible life partner, awesome bonus mom, incredible mama to our girls. She doesn't ride me about this, but I'm self-aware to it.
Right.
Sure.
That's good.
Well, you care about it, and
Right.
you care about putting on the good face. You care about being that good partner. Sure,
Yeah.
that's good.
So I keep telling her that we're going to move further out because I need more time between leaving the office and decompressing.
That's so true, though.
Like, I only have 10 minutes to decompress before office to home, and that's not enough time. Like, sometimes I go to the
Interesting.
bathroom longer than that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I need
Hey,
more
whatever you
time.
need,
That's-
Tom. All right,
yeah.
you
I
spend
need
whatever
more
time you need in there,
You
big
can
guy.
cut that out later.
No, but
Padded
I
toilets
couldn't
is
agree
a
with that
real
more
thing.
though, because I thought it was going to be so nice to live so close to my office.
No, you can't decompress.
And like it's literally a 5-minute drive, if not less, from my office to my house.
dude, you can
and
walk in
and
5
me,
minutes.
we talked about that. Me and Allie did just the other day. It's like, yeah, like now I don't have any time to decompress if I've had a bad day. You know, if you had a good day, you know, no big deal, whatever. But those bad days, yeah, it's hard. I need to find I guess a long route
When I was in
home or
Kansas
something.
City,
Oh,
to
yeah.
go from Crown Center to Gladstone, I had 45 minutes.
Yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
I can forget about all the BS that took place, listen
Sure.
to some good music or an audiobook or whatever, and put my mind in a different spot. But yeah, 10 minutes of commuting in your home. It's like, okay, I know I'm going to go in there, and I know I'm going to have a 3-year-old as soon as I open the door run and jump
right.
and want to climb onto my legs. Well, I got to have both hands available. So
Yeah.
if I'm doing this,
That's not
and
it.
she comes
Yeah.
and I'm either getting racked or she's like, "What's happening?"
Protect
Like,
yourself.
So, yeah, it's like something's going to happen here. So
I do like that though. I get caught behind the train intentionally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do that quite a bit. So between my office and our house, there is a train track, and you can go
Oh, yeah.
two different ways. One of them definitely avoids the train track 100% of the time.
yeah,
I go the
goes
other way.
over it.
I
Yeah.
go the other way.
Yeah.
And I try to catch that train. If I know that I'm like, I need a couple of extra minutes, I try to catch the train. Because it comes, for whatever dumb shit reason, it comes right through by my house at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or 5:30. And so, like, if I'm leaving the office and I'm going home, it's like, great, this is the way to go. Well, I appreciate that. It's just one of those deals where we all work in sales roles. And frankly, we deal with a lot of rejection, and that's part of our business. You hear no. Hopefully you hear no less than you hear.
No, you hear it more than you.
Definitely.
Excuse me. Hopefully you hear yes more than you hear no. I said that
That's
backwards.
never the
But
case.
that's never the case. And so it's one of those deals where, like, if you've been
Uncom-
working on something and working on something, and then all of a sudden you hear that final no, I need a second to get myself removed from that. And so getting myself over that.
Yeah.
I forget who the author was, but it's the 11-week year. I don't know if you've heard that. So,
So you have 4 years and 1 year,
that's
right?
So
Yeah.
when you're in a sales role, sales
Yep.
capacity,
Interesting. 11-week year. I'm looking this
you're
up
trying
right now. Make sure I have
to
it.
you're trying to work on your effectiveness of sales planning and goals, but also you bust it for 11 weeks, and then at the end of that 11 weeks, you take a week, go on vacation, and recharge,
Yep.
and then
Got
you
it.
come
Okay.
back and you start over, and you keep doing that because when you have a goal and it's an annual sales goal, you may blow it out in the first 3 months
Right.
if you get more yeses and nos,
Yeah.
or you may not. But if you blow it out, you lose all productivity leading throughout the rest of the year.
Sure. Yeah.
Like what we talked about earlier, when you have a great big win, you're like,
Way to go, me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
So I'm there right now, Tom.
that's because
So-
you're the man.
well,
I've been tutoring you well.
No, frankly, I need more
You're
of your
welcome,
input.
Dad.
You're welcome, Dad.
But Dad and I were doing the math. We sit down, once every couple of months and talk. And I don't talk to him much. I
1
don't
+ 1 = 30.
exactly. I don't really like the guy, but we'd sit down every once in a while. And I will, by the end of June, I will have sold as much in the first 6 months as I did last year.
And last year was a good year.
And last year was a good year.
Yeah.
So
So you're
I'm
going to go golf more?
yeah. So that's the conversation. Is do you keep your foot on the gas from the business side?
Yes.
And the answer is 100% yes.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day,
While you have the energy, the answer
Right.
is yes.
Right.
and while
Yep.
my kid doesn't have extracurricular activities, while it's Elsie is at daycare and there's not dance. I mean, we do swim lessons once a week and that's it. And so if I can make it to swim lessons and I can make it to bedtime and bath time, sweet. As long as I'm not missing the soccer practice or whatever the hell it is right now. So yes,
Should be coaching
Foot's
it.
on the gas. You don't want me coaching any sports, pal.
No, the other parents may not. I don't.
I can promise.
It won't be my
I can promise we're getting Travis Lyles.
Oh, he's going to be
to coach
the
our-
best coach. I don't care what sport it is. He's going to be the best coach ever.
He's going to coach soccer for
Yeah.
sure,
And
it's
football.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
his daughter's going to be running circles around all
Fun
those
fact
kids.
about Travis and Maddie, we had our Izzy is the same age.
Oh, yeah.
A day apart, I believe.
Is it really that
I
close?
think
That's
it was
great.
that close.
Because he's been on the
Oh.
show as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
so
Yeah. So
she's really close to Liam then.
Yeah.
Because Liam was February. Yeah.
February 3rd. Izzy.
Okay. Yep.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
Decent Dads is going to have to sponsor a kid's soccer team or softball.
That's a
or
great
We're
idea.
on the south side. You guys are all up here.
whatever. This is kind of it's the east side, whatever. But I think that would be so much
Other
fun.
side of
Just
the
get
tracks.
How
That's
much
right.
fun would
Yeah,
it be?
yeah, you heard him
That's
talk about the
actually- you're not
train.
wrong. Literally on the other side of the tracks.
But Tom, you mentioned Stacy there earlier,
yeah. Let's
and
talk about
so yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. Talk about what it's like to raise a mixed family, and especially with you have two kids that are quite a bit older, and then because what is there, 12 years apart between your second and your third, right? Mm-hmm. So what is that like, bigs and littles, and then also mixed family?
Yeah, so the bigs and littles, the common question that I get every time, built-in babysitter.
Literally stop myself from saying that. Stop myself from
because
saying that.
there's the discussion that I had and Stacy, I got to give credit to her because she was the one to bring it up. She's like, no, they didn't sign up to be babysitters. Said these aren't their kids.
That's a good point.
They're your kids. And they didn't say,
way to go, Stace.
Hey,
That's
we,
good.
Right.
we want you to have more kids. We made that choice.
Sure.
So therefore, the littles aren't ever going to be a burden for them. If they choose to want to interact and play, I want to encourage that because, little kids are the best, especially that 3-year-old age.
Yeah.
Like, they just...
Some days.
Yeah, but...
Mine's starting to talk back to me.
Hey, little kids, little problems.
Mine started.
It's a learn, but no. Tell your wife to quit it. But so with the bigs, initially there was a lot of excitement, and not that there isn't, still some, interaction and excitement. But again, you go back into different moms, and what's the other house pouring in?
Sure.
What does that mean? So you can't,
Like you said, control the controllables. You can't
Yep.
control what's happening in the other house or what conversations are
whatever
being had.
that Kool-Aid mix is, that comes in, and then you get to a point where they come over, and it is what it is. You try to pour in your Kool-Aid
Yeah.
of messaging and parenting. So that has its own challenges, and again, it's not unique to me. I realize that.
I love your perspective on that.
That's a good
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
because you can be a victim.
What good's that going to do you?
Every victim needs a villain.
For each.
So
true.
It's not worth your time going down that path. Doesn't mean you won't get frustrated, but for the kids, no. Like Audrey, my oldest, I need her to pick up Hunter from football. I can expect that of her. I can ask her to do that. That's her brother, But there was a period where I had to work with the bigs and help them understand the same amount of me that's in them is in their sisters.
Yeah.
Like that's not somebody foreign to you. Now, should I have
Well said, Tom.
Should I had to have gone that path to do that? I don't know. I had to because whatever.
Whether you had
message-
to or not, I
yeah,
mean,
like they couldn't understand. Oh, well, that's not my real sister. No, it absolutely is.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
sure.
So, yeah, challenges, right? Like that's some real things, but in the I'm trying to think of your second part of your question. The bigs and the having the different dynamics. The little kids annoy big kids.
Of course. Yeah.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
candidly. I mean,
Let's
I've got
call
an
a spade a
almost
spade
an
here.
18-year-old daughter.
Sure.
My 3-year-old adores her, wants to be clinging to her all the time.
Sure.
Wants to be in her room. Audrey's in her bed. She wants to be in her bed.
Aw.
And what's an 18-year-old?
That's so sweet, though.
Yeah, it is. Right?
Yeah.
Unless you're the teenager.
Right. Yeah.
You're like,
Get the hell away from me.
GFTO.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I spelled that right, but
I knew
We knew what you meant.
Yeah. Get the
GTFO. You got it. You got
Close enough.
Yeah, it's like get out. And it's like, but Audrey does a good job. You know, a teenage boy with a 3-year-old girl, not nearly as excited.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah,
hey,
that makes
touch
sense.
Don't
Yeah.
touch that. Don't touch that.
it. Is that his move?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got stuff all over the floor and like barking. It's like, come on, man. Like, don't bark.
Yeah.
But it's just different perspective. Like I didn't have a little kid going through my room when I was 15.
Well, yeah.
I had a lot of trinkets and stuff.
My shit was in the place where I put it, and I knew where it was.
Exactly.
100%.
So I'm not mad at Hunter for that. I just ask him to be smart about it. Like, hey, I'll keep her out of your room to the best of my ability, but I also need you to keep stuff out of reach.
Yeah.
Right.
Please remember, yes, there are little kids in the
Yeah,
house.
and when they're at their mom's, I lock the door. Like, I don't need her going in there.
Right.
I mean, simple things you can do. Yeah. I want to go back, and I should have, this just kind of came to me just thinking about that dynamic. With the kids going back and forth, 50%. And Stacy and I have talked about this. To some degree, I probably overcompensated for my lack of time. So
I can see how. Yeah, I can absolutely.
So
see
for
why you do
your
that.
Right.
Sure.
in your 50% time, when you think about, I forget what all the numbers and the stats are, how many weekends you have before they graduate, and how many
We've
days.
talked about that.
Yeah, we've absolutely
So
talked about
cut
that.
it in half,
Right.
right? And you want to
That's scary.
Those numbers
Yeah.
already felt low when we read
Yes.
them. Yeah.
And you want to get some life lessons in there. How do you do that? You want to build some communication, some emotional stability. You got to be intentional, and intentional is more serious than just.
It's not always easy.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's not all fun and games.
With the
Sunshine and
kids.
rainbows. Sure.
yeah, with the kids, I mean, we're talking about your body and what that looks like and relationships, and at a young age, because I need them to know that I'm a safe space. We can have conversation. We can do those things, and we can talk about it. And no conversation needs to be off limits. Like, I'm your father. I'm here for you. So that. As the kids got bigger, they're just like, "You're so serious." It's like everything's a lesson. Like, look, you don't get it.
I'm gonna go to halftime,
Right.
pal.
Right.
They don't get it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they kind of do now.
Yeah.
As they've gotten older, but doesn't mean they've enjoyed it because
Yeah.
everything's a lesson. And it's like, well, I'm trying to make sure you become a contributing good person.
Well,
Yeah.
and
it's like,
and they'll appreciate that later, right? I mean,
hoping.
they really will, though, because I think about that a lot too. Like looking back on my parents and stuff they taught me at the time, I was just annoyed and like,
Oh, yeah.
why are you telling me this? But then you look back, especially once you become a parent, you're like, I see what she's doing there, mom and dad. Thank you, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Right?
Teenage Bryant thought my parents were real.
Oh,
fucking
teenage
dumb.
Brian, teenage Derek knew everything. Right?
Trust me, he knows.
Teenager.
Tom, we were having a talk in the break, and I stopped you so that we could continue to have this conversation because I thought it was really good. Tell me about
Say that again.
Tom, you said that so well. You're so good at this. Oh my gosh.
One more time.
So
Stopped you. It was so good.
So-
It's like hearing I was right.
it's like, way to go, I did it. I want you to talk about the father and son relationship, and that, like, there's almost a little bit, and you talk about it, 'cause I've got a really good relationship with my dad, but it hasn't always been as good as it is now. Frankly, I want to bury my dad.
Right.
And not like literally, but from
There's
a
a
professional
competition.
standpoint, or from a
Yeah.
like I want to get out from. I've been Greg's son for such a long time that now in my like early 30s, I finally have gotten out from under his shadow, and I wondered if you're experiencing that at all with your son. Like, are you seeing any of that with your kid or anything like that?
So what we were talking about through the break had to do more with just this sense of finding one's identity as a teenage boy or just as a son of a business person, a successful person, maybe a big personality, maybe not, and being in the shadow and breaking out of shadow. So
true.
For there's my son's working out. He's going to be strong. Like, he wants to flex on me. And I got
You
news
were a
for
college
you.
football player, so you were
I'm
no
like,
slouch.
And
You're
still a big guy. I mean,
you guys can't tell he's 7'12".
yeah.
right. I don't need to bench 500 pounds, but I will summon all of God's strength, and I will whoop your ass one time. Do not test me.
Don't challenge me, boy.
Like, it will come. Like, the adrenaline will happen, and I will take old man strength to a different level. And here's a funny story. Yeah.
There you go.
My brother, one of my brothers came down, Mike, to visit, and Hunter and him were outside. They were running routes and doing something, and again, Hunter's got some new bulges on his arms.
Some new bumps. Yeah.
Yeah, some new bumps.
Yeah.
That boy's strong.
And he wants to feel himself out. Of course, Dad, I don't provoke my kid. Like, I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to. I want my kid to not see me as a competitor, because I'm for him. I'm not against him. I'm
Sure.
not trying to assert that I'll whoop your ass. Like,
Yeah.
it's never my goal to have to do that, but I will if I have to.
Yeah.
I hope I never have to.
Of course.
The uncle comes down.
Doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, Mike doesn't care. As a matter
Different
of fact,
mentality,
I
yeah.
might have said, go outside and whoop his ass. Like, let him know.
I might have
Let
said-
him know
Remind him.
what happens.
We're men in our 40s. This shit doesn't fly.
Oh,
and
that's great.
He's a couple of years older than I am. And they go outside. And a couple minutes later, come inside. And I'm like, what do you think of that? He's like, he's still out there picking himself up. It's like, yeah. And Mike's not as big as I am.
Yeah.
6'3" and maybe 190, wiry,
Yeah.
but has a motor that doesn't stop.
Right.
And just, hey,
Miss that.
country strong, yeah.
Those country strong guys are real, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That shit's
So,
real.
Hunter has this 220. I work out. Look like Tarzan, play like Jane, don't know how to move. Like, you're going to go down. Like, there's just some tricks that we
Right.
don't have yet.
Yeah.
Well, and there's
Get there.
something to be said for I went through high school and college with a bunch of dudes I know how to wrestle. I know how to manhandle. I got that squared away. Well, we do something every episode, and we got to do it here. You told us that you created some dad jokes in a very unique way. Tell us how. Tell us some dad jokes, or tell us how you came by your dad jokes, Tom.
Well, I've got 6 dad jokes.
Wow, came prepared. Look at this guy.
And the first one actually came from my mom. My mom was over at the house, helping, with the kids or whatnot. So that was good. So my mom just moved down from South Dakota. So I'm very thankful. All this help you guys have been used to. Well, Stacy's mom's been very helpful. But
You're getting to
for
realize
me-
it in your 40s.
Yeah. For me personally, with my family, that they just moved down a couple weeks ago.
That's
So
great, man. Good
I'm
for
like,
you.
I'm not funny. Like, I'm really not.
Give yourself some credit.
So
You
not
are.
funny.
just ask my kids. Like, I'm too serious. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not funny. And I'm like, I need a dad joke. They're like, you need a dad joke. So my mom, this isn't politically correct, but whatever.
But what are the previous generations for, if not non-politically correct
Right.
stuff?
So she's like, where the joke was, where do the Russian armies, where do the Russians hide their armies?
I don't know.
Yeah. No.
In their sleeveys.
Yes.
So dumb.
Yes.
I'm like,
That is so good, though.
I'm like, what?
It's
Tom, that was good. That was good.
so good.
I'm just like,
Holy shit.
so bad.
Right.
No, that's my new favorite one.
I was like, yeah.
Where do the Russians hide their armies? In their sleeveys. I can remember that one. That one's going in the Rolodex. That's awesome.
That made me
Did
cry.
you have a
Tom.
second one you wanted to tell?
Cry.
I want to give you a chance to tell some more.
Okay. I'll read through these pretty quick. So, yeah, I had no idea what to do, and I figured artificial intelligence was smarter and
Look at
funnier than
you,
I was.
technologically savvy over here.
I love it.
I
Yeah.
asked for some top 5 trending dad jokes. And keep in mind, remember, dad jokes are meant to be lighthearted and cheesy, not actually good.
Thanks, ChatGPT. That's really great.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
He was outstanding in his field. I know that one.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that one.
Damn it, ChatGPT, that wasn't good.
That's okay. We told that one on the show before. That's the only reason I know it.
How do you organize a space party?
Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah.
You plan it.
Oh my
Wow.
God! Yeah,
It is so simple.
that's a good one.
It is that.
Yeah,
Wow. How
that's
did we
good.
miss that one? Gosh. Whiff.
I'm reading a book about anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Solid. Yeah. That's pretty
get
good.
that.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
get that.
solid.
Why don't skeletons fight each other?
They don't have a bone to pick.
They don't have the guts.
You were close. That's a good answer, though. That's good. Yeah, gosh.
This one, you're going to have to think a little bit. Did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He will stop at nothing to avoid them.
Nice.
An arithmetic joke there,
The
huh?
most dad jokes, and that's the walk off. That's
All
pretty
right.
solid.
That's a good one.
What about you, DC? What
Oh,
do you got?
man, that first one, though. I'm still like crying from your first joke, Tom.
Yeah, you guys made that better than it was.
Tell your mom we approve.
They're in their sleeveys, like,
I think that's so good.
Yeah.
Man. That's hilarious.
yeah.
Well, excuse me there. You get, I mean, most people know, and you guys probably know too, of Murphy's Law, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I feel like as a parent, it's, yeah, right? That's pretty relatable. But have you guys heard of Cole's Law?
Coleslaw. Yeah, I eat it.
Yeah, it's just thinly sliced cabbage.
I picked.
Yeah, Tom got it.
caught
He's been a dad longer. He picked it up.
You don't get this physique by not liking food.
Listen, mayo and cabbage, you better believe
Sign
it.
me up.
Hey, speaking of mayo and cabbage,
Oh.
did you guys know it's Diarrhea Awareness Week? Yeah, it runs until Friday. Is that really what
Silence.
we're doing?
No, that was good. That was good.
So that's how we're going to
That
end
was
this
good.
episode, ladies and gentlemen. DC, tell them what they won, son. Where
Yeah.
are we on the internet?
Yeah,
right now?
well, first of all, thank you to all of our listeners, subscribers, YouTube, Spotify.
Few less.
Nah, Tom, we might pick up a whole nother generation after some of these stories, okay? But no,
Dad.
that's right.
funny.
But no, he made fun of me for being young earlier. That's only fair, right?
Yeah.
But
you're
yeah.
in your Achilles, you're in your 20s. Sucks to
Hey,
suck.
30s, okay?
He's
Just
in
cross
his 30s.
cross the threshold, okay? But no, thank you to all of our listeners, subscribers. Keep continuing to comment, share, share your dad stories, share your dad jokes.
Please.
We had
We
several
wanna-
here
we wanna
today.
read 'em, please.
We want to hear more dad hacks. Share all those. We'll steal them from you, but we'll give you credit. So
Yeah,
don't
we
worry
will.
about
We
that.
promise.
Subscribers. We're approaching 1,500
Which is
now,
wild.
which is
Yeah.
wild.
Awesome.
We thought it was going to take much longer to hit that number than what it is. Just please continue to do what you do, and like, share, subscribe.
So I think we do have to say, way to go, decent dad.
Yeah, way to go, Tom.
You're in the crew, man. We
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Way to go, buddy. Can't leave you out.
Yeah. Oops, sorry, microphone. So unless anybody else has anything else,
I got
anything?
nothing. Yeah.
I think we'll bring this thing to the close. Go ahead.
I was going to say, thank your sponsor.
We don't have a sponsor at this point. Not for this episode, at
okay.
least.
If we-
maybe
if we do, we'll have to
but
cut that
here's one
part
thing.
out.
If we have a sponsor for this episode, thank you.
You should have been.
Yeah, exactly. You should have been
Missing
here
out,
earlier. What the
really.
heck?
I mean,
So without
Edit
further
that
ado, we'll see you next time.
yeah, he is.
Grr.